What's up, everybody? Give us a couple minutes. I have my buddy Pat, who is struggling a little bit, trying to get the Stream Labs to work on his Mac. He's probably got some security or something that's preventing it. But we will. We're going to get through this, guys. Just give me a couple of minutes, and we'll get set up. In the meantime, just enjoy looking at me looking perplexed, and see if we can't get him on there. I probably should have done a dry run, but that, usually it's I don't have too many problems. Unfortunately, today I do. So it is what it is. So there we go. If you're listening over on an Unreasonable Man, I'm going to throw the link out to the YouTube, or to the Gum Prattle, and you guys can go watch over there. So let me make sure that I'm doing this right. Yeah, okay. We'll get it done. Okay. Yeah, sorry guys, we're trying to get these guys. We're trying to get this set up. I apologize. Just trying to get this set up for my buddy, and we will. I'll get there in just a second, guys. I apologize. It is taking some time. But that's okay. It's okay. Everybody, just be cool. Everybody just be cool. All right. So what we're going to talk about tonight, guys, when we get Pat up here, we're going to talk about some 3-gun. We're going to talk about some good stuff. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. But anyway, they're on a Mac, and since they're since my buddy's on a Mac, he's having some trouble. With the difference in, most everything is streamer wise is Mac friendly, but for some reason his Mac is just not working with it right now. So we'll get it set up. Too bad CloverTac's not around because I know he accesses from a Mac. But well, he might be around. Let me see. Let's world closer. Hit the CloverTac guy up. Let me do this as well. What's up, Helping Hound? Good to see you. You postponed HLC for this. I appreciate that. All right, so he's getting some settings figured out. We're gonna keep going, and we're just gonna have some fun, guys. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. We got So Loud in here. We got some people. We got some people going on. So that's fun. Gonna do some editing later. I got some really good stuff going on with um, some of the well, just some interesting things going on. And yeah, indeed. Hope everybody's doing fine out there tonight. It's gonna be fine to see where we're at. Let's see what we got here. All right, let me got a message here. All right, so this link doesn't do anything but talk about this. Okay, how do you join? It's the same. Right. Okay. No. Send again. Send. Send again. Send again here. Nothing like dead air. Sorry, Chuck. I'm trying to help him get his Mac working with our stuff here with Talk Studio. It is unfortunate, but you know, it is kind of what it is. I may end up having to do a to run him into Discord. Okay, all right, hang on, let me see. All right. All right, so the Mac is being a pain. Give me a second. We're gonna do this a little differently. Where is this? Where we go? Pat hates computers. All right, I'm gonna email him this link too. This is why we start early, folks. This is why we start early. All right. Yeah, so Chrome would help, Chuck, but he doesn't know how to use Chrome on his Mac. I'm sure it's his wife's computers, and he hates computers. So we're gonna try and run it through Discord. I'm watching my Discord mods. If you can watch Discord, that would be wonderful. I don't know where he will come in. Probably come in general. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know what the Mac thing is. So I get it, Chuck. We're all trying to be helpful right now. Um, all right, all right, all right. I'm watching to see if he pops in on Discord. We shall prattle ourselves, guys. I apologize. This is boring. It's dead air. It's all of the things that I hate. However, unfortunately, until we get the guest in, this is what it is. Also, it's hot in here, which is not helping my mood any. I turned the AC. I thought I turned the AC on earlier. Apparently, I did not, and it is smoking hot in here. Smoking hot. So let's see. I'm watching the Discord. I apologize, guys. I am watching the Discord pretty closely to see when and if he pops in. Hope I get I did give him rightly. It is muggy as crap. What happened to the Christians? Whatever happened to two or more? Wherever two or more? Yeah, that's a good point. Huh. I think the security on his computer is ridiculously is just crazy. All right, let me. Huh. All right. I may have to resort to LinkedIn. I really don't want to. All right, let's go back to Discord. Email this to him again. So normally I like to do all this stuff beforehand, but unfortunately, You're trying to get Chad excited. I mean, he could use his phone. Does anybody use anybody in my chat use a Mac that could maybe give me some tech support here? Because I don't use a Mac. I've never used a Mac. Maybe my chat's no help either. Barely use a smartphone. I know how to do Eagle Scout stuff and create new religions. God tech is not my forte. I agree, man. I agree. Uh, what is your All right, let me see if I can add it. Let me. Fucking Tennessee has become a member. Uh-oh. Might have it. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. All right, all right, all right. Let's see if we can find Patrick. So, I think he's in Stream Alerts. There he is, right there. All right, we're going to. He's all right. Sweet. Let's see. Added Patrick as a friend. I'm going to invite to my server. All right. This is gonna be good. All right, so he's in Discord. We got him there. We got him that far. Gotcha. Yep. Your hands are burnt. What'd you do? What did you do, Chuck? All right, so I've got him in Discord, guys. If we can get him to where he can take and make calls, we'll be in good shape. Right now, he can't. Right now, he's just really basic stuff, so can't take. It doesn't look like he's got it set up to take and make calls. And we'll get there from there. Hopefully we get this going on. If not, that's okay. We gave it the college try. Got it. We got a call. We got a call. Hey, Pat, can you hear me? Hey, we got Pat. We got Pat, ladies and gentlemen. We've got him. We've got him. All right, now let me get this over here. My God, it was tough, guys. It was tough. It was tough. All right, so let's. All right, let me grab the. Let me get this over here to the YouTubes. I know. Look, I'm proud of that thing. I'm proud of that thing. It also matches the decor, so it was great. It's hot in here. I thought I turned the AC on in here earlier, and then I didn't, so it sucks, but that's okay. All right, we got sound, we got everything we want to do there. So, and now Pat's live on YouTube. There we go. Boom, just like that. We've got everybody. You can't hear Pat yet because I didn't have him there yet, Mike. That's why. So you can't see the chat either. So that's going to be tough. Guys, he can't see your chats. So, you know,
you can relay.
I'll have to relay. Unless you can open up another window with the YouTube stream beside it.
Bro, you know how long it took me to get here? Much less trying to add more to it.
You can run a gun, but you can't run a YouTube channel. I can tell you that right now.
I can tear an engine apart and put it back together in a day and a half, but I can't work a computer.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Pat, you're on technically 2 channels right now because I just started the gun channel earlier back in like January. His volume's low. I can't do anything about his volume being low.
Say, how do I adjust that?
Either speak closer to your microphone, or there may be a if you go into your settings in Discord, there will be a place where you can maybe increase your volume. So it's like watching a 2-year-old learn how to connect dots and blocks.
I feel like an old man trying to use, I mean, quite literally trying to use technology.
I'm very good with technology. I'm old too, by the way. Don't make fun of me.
Well, you're doing better than I am, and you are older than me.
I am old. So, so for everyone who doesn't know, Pat and I have been shooting together for probably like 8 years now. Like probably 2017, I would guess.
2017 was first year. No, it's years, yeah.
Yeah.
Benning match 2019 was my first major. I started shooting the beginning of that year. So it was, summer of that year. It was like June. It was like this time of 2019 when I first started shooting like seriously competitively. That was the year I came up to Tennessee and started shooting, Dead Zero and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been shooting since you came to Dead Zero. And Dead Zero, was I the match director when you came up there?
Oh, when I first went up there, it was Sydney.
Right. I helped Sydney a little bit, but not much.
And then that's she was fading out, and you were kind of coming in. I think I only shot like 2 of her matches when it was her, and then that's when you stepped in when she stepped out.
Yeah, she had a bunch of stuff going on. She went to Washington and did a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah, that whole trying to start a life and all.
Right. Yes, exactly. Having a life, that weird thing.
Silly adulting.
So, you work for an ambulance company as a mechanic, and married, got a kid, just normal guy. But you just absolutely, at some point, you decided that you were going to just destroy 3-gun competition.
Yeah.
And you worked real damn hard to do it. And so far, you've been doing a pretty damn good job of it.
I appreciate it. Truth be told, it's just been a lot of shooting. Funny enough, what got me into competitive shooting was a local bowling pin shoot.
Yeah, you're going to have to get closer to your mic. I know you're using the mic on the computer, right?
Yeah, I don't know where the mic is on this thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's that laptop mic is always a pain in the ass. You got to like really, you got to vocalize like you're on the range.
Like I'm talking trash to the guys on the range.
Yeah, you got to vocalize.
But yeah, no, I was saying what started my competitive shooting, funny enough, was a really basic indoor weekly bowling pin match. 5 bowling pins set up on a 2x4 resting on 2 barrels at probably 7 yards, and just that. So the way they did it where I was shooting, you had 5 pins, you had 7 shots in the gun. So the fastest you could knock them down without missing more than twice, it was the way they ran it. And so I did it for a little bit, and then my dad actually was very supportive of it. Of course, my wife was as well, and my son, he was like 2 months old or so when I had that first big bowling. They had like a charity bowling pin match there, and won a little trophy. That was like the first shooting trophy I ever won. And then so it was like later on that night, actually, that night or the night after, we were laying in bed with my wife, and I was talking about, still living the high of winning that trophy. And, she was asking, well, is that something you've always, wanted to do? Because you're pretty good at it. And so she kind of pushed me to try it. And I'd seen 3-gun on back then it was 3-Gun Nation videos on, different YouTube channels and stuff like that. And I was like, man, that looks awesome. You know what I mean? It's not just standing still, on a flat range shooting at, some bowling pins. I was like, that looks cool. That's some cool John Wick type stuff. And she said, well, what's it take to get you to do it? And I said, well, I'll need a shotgun and I'll need a pistol. I was like, I got a, AR-15. It'll work. Little did I know, yeah, technically it would work, but it wouldn't be super competitive. But literally probably the following paycheck, she told me to go to the store and I did a little research. I bought a Shadow 2. Season Shadow 2. That was my first three gun pistol. And then everybody says just bring what you got. Don't buy any guns and stuff until you come shoot some matches and figure out exactly what you want. Well, I did not do that whatsoever. I went balls deep into the deep end. And the range I was shooting those bowling pin matches had a M2 on consignment. Ended up picking up the Benelli M2 for $800 and sent it to Terran Tech. Yeah, it was a great deal at the time because they were like $1,200-$1,300, brand new. So I was super stoked. I dropped $800 on that and sent it off to Terran Tactical and had them, kit it out and set it up for me. And I literally shot my very first 3-gun match with a Shadow 2. Real basic AR-15 and that M2 by Terran Tactical.
Right. All right. Yeah. All right. So you went with the literally the shotgun alone was the cost of the AR, and before you sent it to Terran and he did his $2,000 or $3,000 worth to it.
Yeah. At the time, I think it ended up with the cost. I think it was like $1,500. If I remember correctly, I was like $2,300 into that shotgun, and I had never even shot a 3-gun match, period. But all the YouTube videos and the John Wick movies said that the Terran Tactical M2 is what I had to have.
You had to have it.
Had to have it. But funny enough, it worked out because the shotgun is actually my favorite of the 3 guns to shoot in 3 guns. So it worked out, and I ended up actually wearing that receiver out to the point where it wouldn't run anymore. Ended up going through 2 barrels and the receiver before I finally had to basically buy a new shotgun.
Yeah. You're one of the few people I know that's done that. You and Brian Nelson probably. Brian Nelson wears guns out. And I've had him on the show. He did 6 hours on the show. Jeez. And I know, right? And we didn't even get into how many guns he had worn out. But he wears guns. I mean, he literally just shoots so much he wears guns out. And it's crazy. But so
dude, I shoot a match at least every other weekend at the very least.
Well, I knew that. Yeah. And and I used to do that too. I used to, I very similar kind of deal when I got into the sport. I was older, obviously, but I got into it because I had made a trade with one of my crew guys for an AR-15, and of course I took it to the range and shot some stuff, and it was kind of boring, and everybody kept telling me about this 3-gun stuff. Right, in Colorado, I'm like, I can do that. Got a pistol. I know how to shoot, and but I didn't really have a shotgun. I shot my first 3-gun match with a Remington 870 pump.
Oh yeah, was you in like limited division or heavy?
No, I ran tac ops with that bad boy.
Wow.
And then I bought an FN SLP. I bought a bunch of shots. I've been through, I think, every shotgun you can shoot 3-gun with. And I kind of set there for a long time. I had that Stoeger M3500, not the M3000, but the 3500. Because one of the things people don't realize is that the 3500 is made to chamber 3.5-inch shells. So the loading port's already open. It's huge.
I was gonna say it's a lot longer, isn't it?
Yeah. You can just like any moron can load that shotgun. I don't have to it's my favorite shotgun to loan out to somebody because anybody can load it. And then they're like, and then they'll go buy something else. They're like, why doesn't it do that like yours did? And I'm like, well,
it's way harder.
It's way harder, smaller. And And then you shot a match of mine back in probably 2018, I would think 2017, 2018, where I thought you were going to die.
Oh yeah, I remember running through the wood, that jungle run, going up the tower.
Up the tower.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember. In fact, that video, if I'm not mistaken, that video, that YouTube video, is still up. When I was wearing the GoPro, and like the biggest comment on that was, "Holy hell! It sounds like you're about to have a stroke."
I know. And that's when you decide, yeah, that's, I guess, part of the motivation for you just dropping just an amazing amount of weight.
Yeah, my biggest recorded weight was 360.
Wow.
Yeah, so my father passed due to complications from obesity and some other things, and my son, having a younger son, and I was like, I really need to get the weight off, prevent earlier deaths, and be here longer and healthier for my son. And obviously, it helps a lot in shooting, especially action sports shooting, being able to run fast, move faster, be lighter on your feet. It does. It shaves, half a second here, half a second there. At the end of the stage, you're 4 or 5 seconds faster just in movement alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got down to just under 200 pounds, but I was pretty sickly looking at 198.
I saw you at the very first Battle of the South, and I didn't even recognize you.
Yeah. And it's funny making such I mean, so that was like 160 pounds or so that I had lost, or no, 130. Anyway, it was a bunch of weight. So losing that kind of weight, friends, especially in the shooting community, where you may only see each other once every couple of months or whatever,
right,
or just at major matches. I forget who knew me before the weight loss, and so I'd have some friends come up and say, "Oh, dude, you're looking great. You're doing a great job." And I'll have some people say, "Well, what do you mean when you were heavy?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. You didn't know me before, when I was super big." And so then I'd have to pull up pictures and old videos and stuff. And they're like, "Holy cow, that don't even look like you." And it doesn't, which is that was the goal, but. Right. It is crazy to see that transformation and then how much it's helped with the shooting.
Yeah. No, it was insane to watch you go to do that, and then your first few matches back where you were just like an animal, just like.
Oh yeah.
And that was awesome.
It's one of those things, you lose that kind of weight, and that you take that motivation and the determination that it takes to lose that kind of weight, and I kind of pushed it towards my shooting. I started dry firing, on a religious basis, and that helps with the shooting and just the mental clarity you have when you're not worried about dying mid stage. Helps a lot with
or your knee giving out, or your
something stupid like that. You know what I mean? And being able to get into positions faster and tighter, and it just all around. Yeah, the weight loss was a huge benefit for my shooting. Sure.
I think that's one of the biggest things. Watching you do that and knowing that knowing you before and after was just crazy to watch. It was even crazier because you told me one time we were at a match. It might have been that same Battle for the South match, because I think that was the first time I'd seen you since because you quit coming to the matches because they started only having them on Sunday.
Right.
And I hadn't seen you, man, like a year and a half. I saw you at Battle of the South. I didn't recognize you. And you were telling me that it was that match when you got up to the top of that tower, you couldn't breathe, that you were like, no,
and shoot. I mean, I was literally, because I was huffing and puffing so bad, I was darn near hyperventilating. I couldn't see straight, literally. You know what I mean? And that was embarrassing as a shooter, because I do, typically do pretty well. And anytime my performance is slacking, I take it kind of personal, on myself, of course, and so and like I said on that video, one of the biggest comments, and I know, I don't know if you remember Corey. I forget his last. I think it was Darling or something.
Yeah, Corey Darling. Yeah. I like that guy.
Every time that video comes up on his Facebook memories sometimes, and he'll tag me in it again and be like, dude, I remember when this fat guy used to try and shoot 3-gun, and and it's like, man, I see that video and I'm like, man, and that now, like I said, that was one of the biggest, most commented things on that video was like, dude, you sound like you're dying while you're trying to
Yeah.
shoot, and that was a big motivator, that's for sure. You know, it's
And
embarrassing, really.
and you see what Chris, what's his name? The guy from he owns a tactical place, Chris. He was from Georgia. He's near you. Not Chris Werther.
Vail.
Yeah, Vail
Solutions.
Technologies. Chris something.
Starts with a W.
Yeah, Werner or something like that.
I don't want to mispronounce it and butcher it.
Yeah, it's okay. But I remember Chris. Chris was like he literally thought you were.
He was on that squad. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on that squad. Yeah, we were all together, and he thought you were going to die, and he was, and I thought, man, what did I do to my buddy Pat? You know, like watching you run up that thing over and over again, and or just at one time, it was crazy.
Right.
And but it was, but you dropped a ton of weight, and you dry fired. I know that during that period of time, I was kind of following you on Facebook, and you got into the idea of dialing in the ammo, you know, and really becoming more precise about everything that you were doing in 3-gun, right?
Oh yeah,
and
I mean, and that's one of the things I love about 3-gun is there's so many different aspects that go into a good run. You know, everybody sees the highlight reels on Instagram and stuff, but what they don't see is the hours loading ammo, doing load development, the fact you saw a mag change, but what you didn't realize is one mag had 55 grain, the other one had 75 grain, you know, for different reasons. And you know that's what I love about 3-gun is what it all takes.
Yeah.
You know, all the different aspects.
Yeah, that's when I knew you were I knew you were serious when you because I see a lot of people come into the sport and they stay for a little while and they leave, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But one of the things about the way you came, so I thought honestly after I made you run up that tower, I thought either you're going to quit, or you're going to like be very serious about it, or you're just going to hate me and never come back. And then after that, of course, you know, I stopped running that match. Other people started running it, and you didn't come back because of the way the timing worked. And of course, in the middle of that was COVID, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and which helped you because you could just work out all the time. And and but it was interesting to see how much more serious you got. You weren't using box ammo anymore for everything. You really dialed in. And what was that process like for you? What were you when you were sitting there and you're working on yourself, obviously? And I know your rifle changed during that time. You had already gone to the Honcho, I think.
I went to the Honcho during COVID.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So what and that's another thing I like about the shooting sports in general is it's pretty easy to find your weaknesses. You know, I mean, you can look on practice score and see what stages were your worst ones, what stages were your best ones, and in that stage, what did you struggle with the most? And so it's real easy to pinpoint your weaknesses in the shooting, you know, sports. But and that's what I would do. I'd say, you know, okay, well, typically the jungle run, the all shotgun jungle runs were pretty solid for me because I've always been a big fan of the shotgun. I've always loaded well and you know, shot a good quality shotgun. So I didn't have to put too much time and effort into that. Well, I noticed early on my biggest weakness was pistol. Out of 3 guns, pistol was definitely my weakness. So I got you know, people say you can't buy skill, but to a certain degree, I call BS. Because obviously you can take the same level shooter and it's going to be easier. You know, a good shooter can take a Glock out of the box and be, you know, and shoot well with it.
Sure.
But it's obviously easier and takes less thought to take, you know, custom 2011 and do the same thing. You know what I mean? You don't have to focus as much, and it comes a lot easier. So to a certain degree, I say you can buy a little bit of skill. Not to say that should replace, you know, practicing and stuff, but so that's when I got the Honcho. Plus, I was already starting to get interested in, looking at other shooting sports like USPSA was really, still really big in a lot of places. That's one of the things the Honcho provides is the ability to change calibers, change um, configuration. So, with the one pistol, I've got 3 different barrels. I can do open, tack. I can shoot steel challenge. I do anything I want with the one gun. They are a little pricey up front, but when you look at competitors at the same level, quality wise, to say buy 3 of their pistols to do the same job that my one pistol, my one Honcho will do, you end up spending way more money in the long run. So that's when I got the Honcho, and then after I had the Honcho, I was like, well, this AR, it's a good rifle, but I kind of need something to help with long range, because at the time I think I had like the 1-6 Viper, Vortex Viper, which
Yeah,
is
I think that's
doable,
true.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it's doable with that, and I did it for about a year or two. But I definitely needed a little bit more, and of course jumped into the Vortex Razors. Now I got a Night Force, then went to the Razor when the 1-10 came
I
out.
have your Night Force.
You have the original Night Force that I bought for 3 gun, actually, yeah. But then I realized, with that night, so I that Night Force that you have, I put on a rifle that I started shooting proving grounds matches with, which is a physical 2 gun
Yeah.
style match, and I learned the hard way that exposed turrets and slinging a rifle do not mix very well at all. So that's when I was like, yeah, I need the same scope, same quality, but I need it with capped turrets.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did a great trade there.
I still use that scope to this day, and greatly appreciate the hookup.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And that one works out for you. You do like to dial your long range for 3 gun and stuff.
Well, that bit me at Battle for the South.
Because you probably, I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, yeah. We just in passing we talked about. I'll just because it's one of those things that I think it's hard for a lot of people to even understand why that would happen. But what did happen is I dial for the longest shot usually, and then I'll dial back, and then I can hold. And so I had shot the match the weekend before at dead zero and dialed for the 430 or whatever yard target, and because I just wanted to get the one shot hit and then dial back to zero and then take all the close stuff. And I did, but I never dialed back. It was still set at 2.4 mils. So then I'm I get up to the first stage. My first stage is the long range stage. It wouldn't have burned me as bad if it wasn't the first stage was the long range stage.
Yeah.
And I was a little, and I wasn't able to go out and test fire the gun before because I just ran out of time. My son had a lot of stuff going on, and I just wasn't able to get out to the 100, 200 yard range to verify. So I got that working in the back of my head. You know how this goes, right? Like I'm going,
oh yeah.
Am I truly zeroed? And so the first stage, I get up and I'm shooting at these targets, and I'm doing a hold I'm doing a 300 yard hold, which is like 1.5 mils or maybe not even quite that. But it's got 2.4 stacked on top of it. And so I'm not even in the zip code of these targets.
You're holding basically 4 mils at that point.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, so I would put like 2 or 3 at each target, and I'm not getting any sign of where I'm hitting, and I would move. Wouldn't get any sign of where I'm hitting, move next target. Got out, and I get over into the close targets, and I switch. And this is what really brain messed me up, just jacked me up. I switched from the 75s to the 55s, and I started connecting. So I thought, what happened is I zeroed this gun with 55s. I never checked my zero with the 75s. So it could be that there's an offset there that I'm not aware of. Like it could be 2 or 3 inches higher, 2 or 3 inches low, and I don't know about it. So, all right, so I got 55s in here, and I got like 3 out of the 6 or 8 targets, whatever it was, in that first on stage 10, out to 600 some odd yards. And I'm like, and it's driving me crazy because normally I'm connecting it long, like long range is something I normally do pretty well. And it's got me in my brain, man. Like I am like all kinds of spun out about this. And I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. I was going to go to the 0 range the first day. And I was like, no, it's fine. Well, then the next morning they're like, well, you got to start here. I'm like, oh man, this ain't good.
Hit that 0 range.
this ain't good. And so I shot that first stage that morning, and I was like, these aren't even far targets, like 400 yards. These aren't even far. And I'm like, there's something wrong, like wrong. And so I go over there and I start shooting, and I'm like, where am I even hitting on this? And then I just happen to look up
at
while it's on the bipod, and I'm sitting there staring right at 2.4 mils, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me! And at first I thought somebody was messing with me. What's that?
It's just so much stuff to keep track of. I mean,
yeah.
And then you come off of a stage, and if you don't turn that turret back down to 0, you'll end up forgetting it between trying to load mags, trying to reset the stage, and you end up forgetting.
It bit me hard. I mean, you think about holding like 3.5 mils on a 600-yard target with 2.4 dialed on top of it. Like you're not even in the zip code, man.
You're not getting splashed to even see your correction.
No, and I went out to that 100-yard range, and I'm like, I was literally like aiming at this target and hitting this target. I'm like, oh my god, this is what's going on.
At least you was able, and that's the difference between a seasoned shooter and a newer shooter. Is a newer shooter wouldn't have even thought about that and would have probably kept on going the rest of the match, just skipping all the long range.
Yeah. Well, I was hating it pretty hard, but it is. I mean, you've got to be able to figure stuff out and adapt. And like, I tell you what saved me was I didn't go to, once I understood I had a problem, I would like, I'm engaging. If I get it, I get it. If not, I'm moving. Like, I'm not going to spend 15 minutes. Yeah. I'm not spending 15 minutes not knowing where I'm hitting. to figure this
it out on the clock when you've got another 2/3 of a stage to go.
Right. And I was but yeah, I mean, it's optics are interesting now in 3-gun. I thought by now it would be different, but it really hasn't changed much over the past 10 years. Even like you could literally pull out, like I could pull that Burris XTR 1-8 out of my safe and go shoot a 3-gun match and be as competitive as anything else. Like there's no like, you got to have it. I know that people, look, sponsors are going to hate hearing this, but they haven't come that far. Like, it's just not, there's nothing to do that. Right. Like
nothing groundbreaking.
No, I think the Night Force for me, the 1-8 Night Force that I'm using with that, I forget, the F1 reticle is, it's good for 3-gun. It's not great for 3-gun because of it's a little thick. And so when you're looking at a small target at like if you're like a 2 or 3 inch target at 100 yards, it's tough. Like if you're shooting a know your limits rack or something like that, it's really tough. And that's
so like about Vortex, that center dot on the Vortex, at least the 1-10, you can kind of see through it. So you can kind of transpose that center dot over your target, and you can still see the actual target.
Yeah, it's so what I find is I just like a little bit finer reticle, but it doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be super fine. I actually really like a couple of different reticles. This isn't an ad campaign, so we'll just,
right.
But yeah, so I think the gear is interesting. And I think that the way that I watched your arc kind of go, is that you worked on yourself and then you worked on your gear, and then you did start doing like tactical games type stuff, and you did well.
Started doing proving grounds, and I won the first one in intermediate. I've won slick. I've got trophy. I got trophies in all of the divisions for men except for the masters, which is the old guys. So whenever I get of age to get masters, that'll be the first thing I look for is go trophy hunting for one of those.
There you go.
But yeah, that's funny. You mentioned that because it's, I've gotten to where I do a lot of other competitive shooting stuff like the AK matches, PRS, DMR, and funny enough, shooting like DMR and PRS has helped me big time in 3-gun. Even though in PRS and DMR we use bags and bipods, tripods, all that good stuff. Whereas shooting tac ops and 3-gun, none of that is allowed.
Right.
It's just a man and a rifle and whatever prop that you're given. Shooting DMR and PRS has helped my long range performance in 3-gun tremendously. I mean, I went from I'll blow a mag on a long range stage to if I take 2 rounds per target, that's more than enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I started going 1 for 1 a lot. You know what I mean? I hear coming up when I first started shooting 3-gun. Hearing guys talk about, oh man, this guy went 1 for 1 on the long range stage, and thinking it's some super high bar that is unachievable, and started doing it on a regular basis, and it was pretty cool.
The difference I find is that when I was watching like Daniel Horner shoot long range, and everybody was surprised that he went 1 for 1 or he'd have 1 makeup. It wasn't that he was going 1 for 1. It was how fast he was going 1 for 1. Like I was on a stage with him when I was on a squad one time, and I was watching him shoot this long range, and it was literally like hit. Like they couldn't call hit fast enough because he was just already moving and going. And I think you're right though. I think there's a lot of guys who do PRS or DMR type matches that come over and then they think, well, this is easy. The 3-gun stuff is easy, and it is, but they can't do it fast.
Right.
They're still doing better than a lot of 3-gunners because 3-gunners miss really fast.
Right.
Right. So, and so I think that, it's encouraging for those guys to come over, and they're going to be towards the front no matter what, because if just hitting it is good, it's the hitting it fast that matters. And then I watched I forget which stage it was at Battle for the South, but there was they had like some really close targets, and I watched this guy just go to war with these close targets because he had just like aced this long range targets, but he just his idea of height over bore was just wrong. Like it wasn't like he either completely forgot about it, or he had just a red fog, and he was like missing these like super close targets. And I was like, I mean, you missed. What can you what can you do about it, right? Like, there's nothing that can be done. And it's interesting. I think the skill set involved in 3-gun has changed a little bit, but the requirements have not.
Right.
So I don't know if you have that feeling, and I want to talk about that in just a minute. I want to get through where you're, how you've kind of gotten to where you're at. And I understand all of the tactical game type stuff you're doing, proving grounds, but it's the same sort of thing, right?
Basically the same thing. Tactical games is more, I'd say 70% physical, 30% shooting, and most of their shooting traditionally in the past, at least, has been more static shooting, bullseye type shooting, whereas the proving grounds and like the gauntlet, from Zoo City, they're 50-50, if not maybe a little bit more shooting than physical. It's basically just enough physical to get your heart rate up, put stress on your body and on your mind to make the shooting a little bit harder. And like the gauntlet will have like USPSA style stages that you actually need to get out there and walk the stage for a minute and come up with a game plan. But then the buzzer goes off and you got to drag a 200-pound sled 50 yards before you shoot that USPSA stage, and you get there and you're like Ricky Bobby, and you don't know what to do with your hands, and your mind's gone, your grip strength is gone, you can't hold your pistol. It's wild to put your body through that stress and then try and
That's like the hardest hell matches. That's like the hardest.
That's what I've heard actually.
It's interesting because I prefer those style of matches to some degree.
Yeah.
I think so like I shot Superstition earlier this year and it was a great match, but for me, it wasn't the style of match that I like as much because it's too much like a USPSA match where there's hidden targets. It's like a USPSA match that somebody said, I want to do the crap that I can't do in USPSA in this match, right? So like they're hidden targets. You can run by them. You have to go all the way into this position to even see the target. And then you've got to come back out and go over here, all the way over here to see the other target. And for the most part, I like that in small doses, but like every single stage is to have every single stage where there's a gotcha.
A brain
or 10 gotchas.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, I don't dislike it, but it bores me after a while. I'm just like, all right, yeah, okay. I know I got to stop here and I got to program in my dance moves. So I don't walk by these targets and those aren't as enjoyable. One of the things I loved about Battle for the South this year was that it was just mostly a straight up drag race. Yeah. Like you just see target, shoot target fast as you can. Don't be stupid.
Not a whole lot of stage planning involved, not a whole lot of, different strategies, but just about everybody shot most of the stages the same way. It was just who could shoot them faster than everybody else.
Yeah, it's performative, right? You have to be able to perform on demand. Well, I do think that there was some strategy to it. I know that like I was watching guys, on stage 5. Stage 5.
That was the biggest one with strategy, I think.
Because I originally I was going to shoot the long range pistol plates from the right, and I ended up shooting them from the left and reholstering, and it cost me a little bit of time there. I probably shouldn't have done that, but it is what it is, right? So.
I shot him from the left. I shot him from the left because I liked the presentation.
Yeah,
left side better than that right side. It felt better for me.
Yeah, my only problem was the one target was below into the grass, so you had less.
Far right from that side, yeah, that far right one was kind of a half of it was kind of hidden by some grass, but yeah, it's a pretty big size target, so you still had plenty to swing at.
I like that. In the shoot house, I fell down.
Well, they warned us heavily that floor was pretty slick from the rain and whatnot over the night.
Oh man, I came into that. So, I shot the pistol. I had one target that I just could not hit. I don't know why. I just couldn't hit it. I sent 5 at it, moved on, went basically 1 for 1 on the rest. Went back to that one, sent another 4 at it, and I was like, just not hitting his target today. I'm done. And threw the pistol away, went in, got the rifle, went in that first window, did a good job there. And I mean, I launched out and I was hauling, went through the door, couldn't go through the second door into where the window is going to be. And as I try and stop, I don't stop. And my feet just go straight up and I land on my back like a turtle. And I got my rifle like this, and I'm like, so I was, and Dave was just like, he was just standing there and I got up and I just kept shooting. And he's like, I wasn't going to, I think he did mention something about, that I was good or, whatever. I mean, I don't actually remember if he actually said anything, but I knew I was good. Yeah. I got up, I started shooting. Of course I was rattled. I just taking a pretty good fall. And So I'm shooting, and at one point, I'm pretty sure I don't know if I still have my video going at the time, but if I did, you certainly heard me say, boy, you got to get your shit together. As I'm starting to miss, because I'm coming down off the adrenaline. And later I told Dave's like, hey, I was only going to stop you if you were hurt. If you did something stupid with a gun, if something stupid with a gun. Yeah. And you didn't do either. Well, you said you didn't do anything safe. You didn't launch around and your finger was off the trigger. So that was fine. I'm like, yeah, it's a good thing. That rifle is a 1.5 pound trigger. I just checked it.
Golly.
So,
pretty light.
Yeah. Well, that's how I mean, it's been that way forever. I've never had a problem with the rifle trigger. Like
Is that one of those diamonds?
No, I outran a diamond.
Yeah.
At the first battle for the South. At the first battle for the South, I was doing that jungle run and I outran the diamond and I broke the trigger.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Easy to do on those, dude. You can get them so light. You can bump fire them. You can outrun them. It's easy to do.
I can't outrun that Elftman. I don't know what that thing is so fast. It's like the 1301 versus the Benelli. I have a Benelli, but I can outrun the trigger, and I'll start getting hammer follow. I cannot outrun that 1301. Like, it's impossible. It's just not going to happen. And I talked to Briley about it, and they said, yeah, the 1301, you're never going to outrun. It's got the fastest bolt speed of anything that they know about. Like, there's nothing else. And where the bolt is going back and forth as fast as that thing. And I'm like, well, I can't outrun it. I mean, I'm telling you, I've tried really, really hard. I can't. But yeah, so that was my I like Battle for the South this year. And I haven't been able to shoot it the last couple of years. I shot the first one at Griffin Group, and I really enjoyed that one. And you worked that one. You were working the shotgun run.
Yeah, I usually do. Like I said, I love the shotgun. So hanging out with a bunch of guys slinging lead out of a boomstick,
yeah,
quite enjoy that.
Yeah, I had fun at that one. I think I liked the first one better than I did this one, but it's probably partially weather.
Yeah.
And I just think that I would have liked to have had a couple of Bay-ish style stages where you could just burn through really quick and have some downtime or something. All these stages seem that they were quick, but they seem to take a lot of time. So
yeah, they're big squads. We had a high number of shooters on every squad. I think it was 12 on every squad.
I think maybe they split the squads up. So
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm actually I was pleasantly surprised I got third. I knew you were going to win. I mean, it was easy to see that Eric wasn't going to catch you. And after the first day, after I busted the long range, I couldn't catch Eric. But
I still think it's crazy he shot that match with a red dot. I mean, and he was like 95% of me. I don't know if I was more impressed by him or disappointed in myself. You know what I mean? It's like you can't take anything away from the guy because he's a solid shooter, day in and day out. But to do that match with a red dot, that takes some huevos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's so much close paper where we were having to pull the optic down, or I was actually point shooting a lot. Where he's just he's just like boom, like
he's right there, he's ready to go.
Yeah. So I mean, again, that few tenths adds up everywhere it goes, and when you've got a lot of that on in a match, it's going to add up. And there were only probably 3 targets that I think were really hard to shoot with a red dot: the 600 on stage 10, the 700 on stage 8, and there was like a 550 on stage 8 or 9, or not 8, not 9, 8 on 8 or 7. Yeah,
to the car, or to the Suburban.
I think those would have been probably the only targets that would have been hard with.
But when you do it as much as he does, he pretty much already kind of has an idea where in space to hold that dot to hit those targets. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You probably don't remember James Casanova, who used to shoot for Noveske and Carbon Arms, and he was a big guy back in the. He was on the Noveske pro shooting team back in the day, and he shot with a red dot. And Sabi reminds me, or CB, or I think I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he reminds me so much of how James would shoot this. I mean, like he just a straight up red dot. He's not even using like a really cool like MRO or anything like that. He's using like just a Vortex Spitfire.
If I'm not, yeah. The coolest thing about it was his Yingling. Yeah, he took a Yingling can, cut it up, and used it as a sunshade.
Yeah,
strapped it onto the front of it like a sunshade. That's probably the coolest part about it. I
Yeah.
looked through it. It has, I wouldn't say an EOTech type reticle, but it has like a, it almost looks like a bullseye. He had a big ring. I'm sure he kind of has an idea of the size of that ring and what, mils or MOA that is.
Yeah.
So he can get an idea where to hold on targets. But I mean, it's just a dot in the middle with a circle around it, and that was it. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, it is.
Sure.
The Burris H1 used to have like 3 dots. It used to have a ring and then a center dot and then 2 dots below it. And you could range out to about 600 with that.
Yeah. That would be a lot easier than what he was working with.
Right. Well, then you add in wind.
He did it on purpose.
You add in wind. I remember I was on 9 or 8 rather, and I shot shooting from the strap, no problem. Of course, this is before I discovered the windage or the elevation thing. And so I get down there and I'm hitting okay the close targets because that 2.4 doesn't throw me off that much. And I get one of the far targets purely by luck, I'm sure. But the guy's like, you weren't terribly far off, but everything was right. You were not holding enough left wind. And I'm like, I could have sworn, looking at the wind flag, that I needed to hold almost basically no wind or just very little left.
Yeah.
But he was like, everything you were doing was like way far right. And so then I started looking the guys who shot after me, and where we were, no wind.
Yeah.
600 yards away, massive wind.
Oh yeah. You know what I started to do to help me with wind calls and stuff like that in 3-gun is I'll pull my my binos out and I'll stand kind of behind the shooter, between the shooter and the target, and that way I can watch trace. And you'll see something like that. For example, you'll see the bullet come out going straight, and about halfway to the target, all of a sudden it starts hooking. You know what I mean? So then that's when I started, and that come from shooting PRS and stuff, being, learning how to call wind and pick up on wind between where you're at, where the target's at. And that was just one of the many things that helped transfer over to 3-gun that helped me with 3-gun a lot was being able to read wind a little bit better.
Yeah.
I started doing that in 3-gun. Sometimes I'll get my tripod out and sit it up behind a long range shooting position, especially if I'm halfway down or towards the end of the list, and I'll just stand there and I'll watch and see what the bullets are doing at different distances.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly a good way to do it. So
yeah, free info.
So Battle for the South was awesome. You did really well.
Thank you.
I think you weren't even that far down compared to the open shooters.
I was 20th overall with modified and open. I was 20, so there was 19 shooters that beat me in the overall, which and as they should. I laugh all the time. There's certain people that'll come up to me and be, "Oh, dude, I got you on that jungle run." And it's like, well, you're an open shooter. You can slam 20 rounds into your gun real quick. You should be beating me.
Yeah, if you're not beating me, there's like a serious problem here, pal.
They're like, dude, I got you by like 3 seconds on that jungle run. I said, that's not good, bro. You should be getting me by like 15, 20 seconds.
Right,
least,
right. It is interesting.
It's flattering, you know what I mean? When it first started happening, it kind of ticked me off. I was like, well, who's this a-hole coming up, talking crap to me about beating me? And it's like, well, yeah, you should have. You know what I mean? But the fact that, shooters that have more advantages, gear wise, for them to feel good for beating me with less, less gear, it actually it makes me feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like shooting optics when in like the I don't know whose rule set it is now, but where it's like an optic on the rifle and then another optic either on rifle or shotgun. So two total
Mm.
off, or you can put the offset dot on the rifle, but you get two total optics for all three guns.
Oh, I see.
I
It's up to
like
you
that.
how you.
Yeah, I like that because then it makes you think
Yeah.
about what am I going to do here. I haven't really decided whether I want to get into modified or not.
I don't want to, but I mean, as well as I do, there's less and less TAC ops guys. I mean, first it was limited years ago that faded out, and and everybody's like, oh, red dots on pistols are the way. But I enjoy the marksmanship, skills it takes for irons, and I've been doing it so long. I shot a night match last night, as a matter of fact, and shooting under nods, you have to have a red dot on a pistol really to shoot
Yeah.
well. And I just struggle, man. I'm telling you, going from irons to a dot, and since I don't use dots very much, I struggle a good bit. So
Oh, that's interesting.
I really don't want to go modified. I don't. Everybody says, "Oh, well, you can just shoot what you do in TAC ops and just use that and modify." It's like, yeah, but the competitive person in me, I cannot allow myself to start off at a disadvantage.
It's
I can't
interesting
bring
you say
myself to
that.
do that.
It's interesting you say it. So when I shoot red dots in practice
Mhm.
because if I shoot red dots in practice, I'm way faster with my irons.
Really?
Way faster. Oh yeah, because
Other guys too.
because
I've
when
heard
you're
that from guys
presenting,
that have bounced back and forth.
yeah, when you're presenting, you're you pick that dot up faster. So when you draw with the iron sight, your sight's your index is just so much better because it has to be with the dot. You can't be lazy like you can with iron sights. And then when recoil, your eye tracks that dot better than it does the front sight. So you're able to transition to targets better. And then so when you go back to the iron sight gun, it follows, right? And I shoot dots in practice a lot. And I would shoot them, and I shoot them in some matches. Like I shoot them at Dead Zero in the optics division because I can.
Right.
But and I probably would have shot modified, except the only gun that I had the only gun that I have that has a dot on it. It was only a 4.25-inch gun, and I knew that we were going to be shooting out to like 80 yards, and I have no idea where that thing hits at 80 yards, like none. Like I've never even like it's a. I mean, it doesn't sound like 3/4 inch of barrel is anything, but I mean, I know where my 5-inch pistol shoots,
Right.
but I have no idea where a 4.25
going
inch
into a stage or a match, with confidence in your gear makes a big difference.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
If you go into it and you're like, oh, I'm just going to hope and pray as I pull the trigger, it's not a good way to start.
That's a bad plan.
Yeah, that's a horrible plan.
That's a horrible plan. But that actually brings us right into the other thing I want to talk about is it is the truth that TAC ops in a lot of places is waning because, and the Three Gun Show talked about this 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever they were last time he went live or last time he did a show, which was, I think, in 23, maybe something like that. But they were talking back then about how to incorporate red dots because everybody's using red dots. You can't even buy a pistol anymore that's iron sight only, hardly. And the reliability of red dots has come way up. The Viridian that came on my Prodigy will never shut off. Like it doesn't have an off switch.
Oh wow!
And it doesn't. You can't even adjust the brightness. It's got like a sensor that adjusts for ambient light, and it either it will shake awake. I guess it'll go to sleep. Maybe I don't know. And then, but other than that, it's always on. It's always on. Like And so, and the battery life's like 50,000 hours or some shit.
Yeah. I
So
mean, the technology with the red dots for pistols is definitely there. I don't know, man. I love tac ops. I like
I agree
I
with you.
like the challenge of iron sights, and
Mhm.
part of it. I think like I said, I like doing better uh, on stages than guys who are using every advantage that they can. You know,
Right.
open shotgun, red, dots on pistols. To me personally, I think with my skill set at least, the dots would help me better with like the long shots. Long
Mhm.
pistol shots. Other than that, I could care less. But yeah, I mean, tac ops is obviously guys are getting out of it. It's the older guys. I can't blame them. They say they can't see the iron sights on the pistols, so they throw a dot on there, and it alleviates that issue, and it keeps them shooting. And I'm all for that. You know what I mean? I'd rather see a guy, switch divisions to be able to continue shooting
Sure.
more than switching divisions just because it's easier to shoot with a dot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So do you remember how it used to be when you would see guys start out in limited because they have really good eyes and they could run really fast and they could reload really
Yeah.
fast and 30-round magazines didn't hurt them and all of that. And then they get a little older and then they'd switch to tac ops because now they can run a 60-round drum. They don't have to reload so fast. They can put a bigger tube on their shotgun and have 12 rounds instead of 9 or whatever the fuck it was. And
Yeah.
and then, now they got an optic so they can actually see what they're shooting at, right? And then 5 years later they'd switch to open because maybe their eyesight's not so good no more, and they don't want to run so far. They really want to have that 2 to 10 on the rifle, and they really want to have a red dot on the pistol. They want a comped pistol because their wrists are shot, and they don't want to they don't want to have to deal with the recoil. I'm just saying. I mean, that it used.
Recoil of a 9mm.
What's that?
I want to have to deal with that massive recoil of a 9mm.
Right. Yeah. They don't want to deal with that snappiness. And they, so, I mean, but it used to be kind of a progression, and now you have like 15-year-old kids coming out running into open.
Straight into
open.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to play video games, just go play video games.
Yeah. Go to open.
Right.
Open's definitely the gear race, that's for sure. You got to have the tripods, the bags, the mag fed shotguns.
It's crazy.
You got to have all that.
So, and that's actually why. So, when I talk to people about why 3-gun seems to be struggling, a lot of people say, "Well, it costs a lot of money." And it can't possibly be the money because the biggest class now is open. That is also the most expensive class to get into. And and in my opinion, it's the dullest class to get into because you're really just using equipment to solve problems that you should be able to solve yourself, right? Like you're not trying to build a position.
Mm-hmm.
You're just using a tripod.
Yeah.
You're not trying to understand where you need to stop. You just have a red dot so you can shoot further. Right.
Yeah. The thing about it with, if you're trying to be competitive and say you come to a position and you'd rather use a bag instead of, a tripod in a bag, if one of your competitors is going to use a tripod in a bag and save half a second, of bending over to use a bag, on a windowsill versus standing up and using a tripod in a bag, well, they're going to save that half a second and beat you. You know what I mean? So then you're like, okay, even the open guys who want to, use more skill and, old school techniques, if they want to be competitive, that keeps them from doing that because, somebody's just going to come up there and do it and beat them anyway.
Right. And so I noticed, I've shot a few matches this year at Texas. I shot this all shotgun stage. So it's all shotgun slugs for the first part of the stage.
Yeah.
I like it. Right. And, and so my dumbass, of course I'm shooting tac ops or tac or whatever the fuck I'm shooting. I don't know what division they called it. I got a tube shotgun, a pistol with iron sights, and a rifle. That's what I got. Like I don't know what class I'm in, but that's where I'm at. And a lot of the guys were shooting modified, so they could use tripods and shit. And
really?
I guess so.
Yeah.
And so they would come in. So they shot the shotgun off of tripods to shoot shotgun slugs. I went 1 for 1 on every single slug. Offhand.
Yeah.
And these guys were, I've literally watched one on a tripod sit there miss like eight slugs. I'm like, that's expensive. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that right at all. Like, that's not smart.
It's definitely a crutch, that's for sure.
And
shoot offhand, just shoot open.
Well, I shot. It's not the smart thing to do at all. But there were targets I could have shot. So I shot the spinner on 8 standing offhand. 9, yes.
Yeah. See, I to be honest with you, I think I'm the only. Well, I mean, granted, in modified, if guys went prone, they were using bipods. But
yes.
I think I'm the only tac op shooter that on that stage went prone and shot that spinner. And funny enough, I learned it the hard way at Duskin. I think 2 years ago, we had a spinner. I had like 3. I had a great stage, but the spinner was towards the beginning of the stage. I had like 2 makeup shots on the spinner. But I still felt like I got it over pretty fast. I turned around and looked at watched another guy run the stage. He dropped prone, shot it. It looked like it was about the same time, as far as the overall stage. It looked about as smooth and clean and fast as mine. He was like 10 seconds faster. And you don't realize it, but you're standing there, missing on a spinner. Every miss costs you 4 or 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Loss of momentum. So I learned the hard way. Next time, in that moment, I could have gone prone like he did, but I just didn't think about it. So, I carried that experience over into that stage, and that's why I went prone.
Yeah. I think most people went kneeling or reverse kneel or some version of that. I considered it. So for me, the time it takes me to get into position and on target, if I can shoot standing off, my standing offhand game is pretty good. So I'm almost always going to go standing offhand. And the RO was like, you had it. And I did. And then I didn't, I think we talked about this. I didn't clean my gun. And I had it just got to where the right in the rifle, the rounds weren't seating all the way. Of course, I don't have a forward assist because who uses those things? And I had that billet upper, baby. And so I would have to, and it was slamming those rounds in there so hard that I was having to go. I was instead of just being able to rack it out and chamber a new round, I was having to break down and
turn your mortar it.
Didn't have to mortar it, but I had to get the full Monty in there and throw those rounds way far away. But and so that hurt my time. But that would have hurt my time whether I was prone or whatever.
Right. Yeah, didn't matter.
Yeah, at that point, I was like, I had it. I was right there. I was on the verge of being awesome, but no awesome. So I think a lot of people. I think the biggest reason I don't see as many people coming out and competing in 3-gun is there's a couple of misconceptions. First, that it's really hard, which I don't know why people think it's really hard. It's odd to me. It's not even that strenuous for most normal people.
Right. Your average Joe can do it. Physically wise can do it just fine. I was doing pretty good even when I was big.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, you would take stage wins when you were huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm nothing against you at all in that aspect. I mean, I think you were, obviously you were just destroying your knees and your body and everything else. But
I tell people all the time after matches, we go eat together and stuff. And dude, I was popping Tylenol and ibuprofen because my joints and my feet and everything was hurting by the time I just shot 5 stages at a local. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that actually, so I had a similar experience back in 2022 or 23. I forget what year. I went out and did Hard as Hell Resurrection with one of the guys from Dead Zero. We went out and shot the match. And at some point in that match, I hurt myself. I was like, at that time, I was like 230, maybe 225, somewhere between 225 and 230. Not super heavy, but heavy-ish for me. And I hurt my knee and hip, and I just would not. Actually, you were there at the night match at Dead Zero where I had to quit. I had to quit the match.
Yeah.
Because I before I even fired a shot, I couldn't.
Yeah.
My knee was jacked up. So then I was kind of in denial about it for another few months, and then I finally went to the orthopedist, and they were like, "Hey, yeah, you really jacked your leg up. What are you doing?" And the orthopedist, I asked him, I'm like, "Well, are there stretches or something?" He's like, "Well, you need to lose like a couple of pounds, man. It'll help out a lot. Like all of this damage to your knees and hips and everything is all coming from the extra weight you're carrying." And I told him like, and part of that conversation was, I'm like, "Hey, I'm doing a strenuous sport where I was carrying at Hardest Hill Resurrection. I shot armored, so I had plate carrier, water, knife, first aid kit. I had like probably 30 pounds of gear on top of me. You had to start every stage. You had to start with, I think, a minimum of 120 rounds of rifle, a minimum of 40 rounds of pistol. So you had basically 3 rifle mags, 3 pistol mags, every stage, period. You had to start with them on you, and you had to carry a liter of water. So it was like first aid kit. You had to have all this stuff. Had to have a helmet.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, helmet, everything. And so you've got like 30 some odd pounds of gear on you, and I was already 20 something pounds overweight. I mean, it's a recipe for getting messed up. And then I went to Alaska last year about this time. I got off the boat after that 10 days in Alaska. I weighed 245, heaviest ever weighed in my life.
Yeah.
And I dropped 40 pounds this year.
Yeah.
So, and I needed to, and I'm continuing. I'm trying to get down, but it's certainly being able to go do the matches. There was going and do a match is no problem, but going and doing a match and not hurting myself, because I'm not going to, like you, I'm sure, I don't go at this half-ass.
Yeah.
I'm going whole ass in there, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing. And
once the buzzer goes off, it's all caution to the wind.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that might be part of
a second. I'm jumping off of something, or if we got to go up a ladder, down a ladder, I'm jumping down off, halfway down that ladder just to save half a second. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
I'll worry about, messing up my ankles or my knees later.
Right, right. Well, no, they're getting messed up. We just ignore that for now.
Right.
Hopefully until we get back to the hotel.
Yeah. Then you start drinking to make it feel better.
I don't drink.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. So the only time I party is at matches, funny enough.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I stay up and drink way more at matches than I do, just hanging out with friends,
Sure.
You don't see all the
I like
time
to go out to dinner with people. Yeah. So I think there are two things that are, and you shoot a lot of different matches, and you go, I mean, I don't think you've been out west to shoot a bunch or anything, but you get around.
Yeah.
What I think is hurting the participation in 3-gun, I think there's two things. I think the match fees have gone up enough to actually make people have pause on whether or not they want to spend that money to go do that. I don't think the match fees are out of line. I just think that most people in their brain, when they think I'm going to go shoot a match for the weekend, they don't think $350, $400. They think $250, $300, maybe $350. Right. And I just think that mentally that's where most people that's their watermark, if you will.
Yeah.
And then,
what I find a lot of guys, especially, doing different matches and stuff, and, hearing guys talk about it and whatnot. A lot of guys just don't like the shotgun. It's not that they can't handle, we joke about them and say, oh, you can't handle, 12 gauge recoil.
Yeah, they got those little girl hands. You can't load them.
Yeah. But a lot of, some guys don't see any kind of beneficial skill, benefits to having the skill set of a shotgun, being able to run a shotgun. in any kind of tactical, defensive, offensive, any kind of scenario.
Right.
There's one guy I know. He says shotguns are for breaching and birds. That's it.
And I've heard that same thing, and I don't disagree with you that I think that there's a lot of people who will say that. I don't like the shotgun.
Yeah.
It's my least favorite gun to shoot by far. It's the gun I shoot the least. Now, you wouldn't know it by looking at my shotgun because I spent a metric assload of money on it.
Yeah.
And I've got several of them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because it's part of the game. It's part of the sport. So I have one because of that. And I kind of get that people don't want to I get the guys don't want to treat the shotgun like it's, like the way 3-gun treats it. But at the same time, I think that I don't have a real problem with the way 3-gun treats it. I think that it does teach, to some degree, it does teach skills to handle the shotgun, to run. Now, do I think that at the same time, I think that we should be using buckshot more than we do birdshot? Absolutely. I think buckshot and scored paper should be part of shotgun. If you're going to use shotgun, I think that should be part of it. I think that I love the use of slugs in this match. I thought it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things I think that I think when most people say that, what they really mean is they find the way that we're using shotgun boring. Because I have a pistol.
Yeah.
Right.
Just use a pistol in that scenario type thing.
Right. It's steel. Why not? Why am I not using a pistol for this? I have a pistol. Mm-hmm. But if you had heavier plates further away, well, why am I not using buckshot on this? There's I think that there's I like using the shotgun. I think that the people that complain about it, really what they're really complaining about is loading the shotgun.
Yeah.
And
because that's a skill of its own. It is a skill you have to work on and practice.
Yeah, and you have to keep up with it, right?
Yeah.
If you don't do it, like I hadn't played with my shotgun in a while. I brought it out because I was going to go to Superstition, and I shot a match, a local, shot, I think Dead Zero, or I don't remember. I really didn't remember how to load the shotgun. I mean, I knew, but I didn't.
The mechanics of it, yeah.
Yeah, I knew how to do it, but
that muscle memory was gone.
Muscle memory had left the building a long time ago.
Yeah, and loading a tube gun, that's big, as the muscle memory.
Yeah. You just got to have and it comes back really fast. And I used to tell, I used to tell people all the time that don't try and be the fastest quad loader in the world, because all you're gonna watch the quad loader guys throw shells on the ground enough, and you'll be like, maybe that's not the answer. And so I mean, I tell everybody just load twins. It's super easy. You can learn in 5 minutes in the hotel room the night before the match, and you're good. Like, you got it. You're
and 9 times out of 10, when you're doing quad loads, you've got more space, what I call dead space, where you're moving from position to position. Mm-hmm. Guys will try and get those quad load. Well, then they're 10 yards away from where they could have been, and instead of dropping 4 or 5 shells, they could have slowed down, got those shells in the first time, and been all the way up there where they needed to be in the first place.
No, I think that's right. That's accurate. I think that, so for me, anytime I'm moving, I'm loading. And I do twins because I can do them blindfolded in the dark. Like, I'm not going to miss. I know that, I know the shells are going to go in the gun. I almost never drop one on the ground, and I can do it while I'm looking at the targets, walking. I'm not doing this. I don't have the gun, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And which, again, I mean, look, hey, if you put the practice in and you can drop quads on a full sprint, man, that's awesome. You're awesome. But that's a skill that requires maintenance, for sure. And even the guys that are really good at it get it wrong. So, but I just think that 3-gun overall, I think that there's this idea that originally it was PCC. Everybody said PCC was going to kill 3-gun. And I didn't believe that. I still don't believe that. And then it was, well, 2-gun is going to kill 3-gun.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying now.
And I think that the problem is that I remember back when we had tactical 2-gun division. We even had 2-gun matches that nobody came to.
Yeah, I remember you were talking about that when you were the match director at Dead Zero.
Begging people to come shoot 2-gun. I would shoot 2-gun just so somebody was in 2-gun, right? Like, and then I think that the difference is that the dot mill guys really like 2-gun.
Yeah.
And so if you have that culture locally, then they're going to like 2-gun probably better, but they'll sneak into 3-gun. They start liking the idea of that shotgun, especially when they realize that if they can't clear steel as fast with that pistol as I can with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Right. You can't clear that plate rack nearly as fast with a pistol as I can with a shotgun. And once they start realizing that, they're like, okay, this is where I can start getting that time back. Yeah. And finishing at higher overall. But match directors have to do their part too. And I think that that's one of the things we've had. The biggest problem I've seen in the last 8 years probably is match directors. And I hate saying it because, nobody ever wants to call out match directors because they do so much and they do, they get
hard job. Yeah.
It's a hard job and all that. But like when we look at some of the things that have happened with match directors who have started out really good and then the matches get really bad. And this seems to be a constant story. 3-Gun Nation, perfect example, Charles Soule. And I can't think of that guy's name off. He's very big. He's a big shooter guy, but those guys did great until they didn't. And then the entire organization went away because of the quality of the match directing. And you're not allowed in 3-Gun to criticize match directors, right? You're just not allowed to say, "Hey, this match sucks." Like, I don't like.
Dude, I don't know. Jason, with Jason, like he'll tell you. I mean, you heard him at the battle, man. He it's nice to hear compliments and stuff, but.
I do like that. I did like that a lot. And I don't have anything. My only criticism of this battle is they knew the rain was coming and they should have put gravel down in stage 5 because they knew that was going to become a mud pit. And we waited 2 hours while they fixed it. But that's like a small complaint.
Yeah. As a whole. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah, that's for a match director, that's a good quality to have. If he's telling you to
is that thick skin,
bring your oh yeah, he definitely has thick skin. He's telling you to bring your complaints to him,
right?
So that
and I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
It's like for example, it's like being in a relationship or in a marriage. If you've got one partner that one side of the relationship thinks everything's fine, no problem, when the other one's not voicing any kind of concerns or issues. Then you don't know and you don't fix it. But if somebody comes and says, "Hey, you're not showing me enough affection," well, then you're like, "Oh crap, okay, well I need to show some affection." So if you go to Jason and you say, "Hey man, the match was great," and that's it, you hate, let's say, long pistol shots. Let's say you hate long pistol shots. Well, if you don't tell him that, he's just going to keep putting long pistol shots.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's that kind of stuff. And sometimes, and you heard him, sometimes there's certain things that he's just not going to change.
Right.
But if there's things that he is willing to change and that can be changed, then if he doesn't know about it, then he can't change those things. So, but I know what you're talking about. There are certain match directors that if you even say anything remotely negative about any aspect of their match, they get butt hurt
Well, I'm
now
talking
you're
about
the
from
best
other
person in the
shooters.
world.
I'm talking about from other shooters. So if you were to, and if I were to shoot the mega supersonic awesome match and it fucking sucked and I didn't like it, if I did that and I went to you, for example, privately and said, man, that mega supersonic fucking match sucked. The targets were hidden too much. They kept shooting too late where, half the shooters had to shoot in the dark. How's that fair? That's bullshit. If I know of similar things in matches where competitors would not say anything about it because they know if they complained about the match to the match director, the other shooters would jump on them and say, well, you can't say that. We won't have any matches if you talk shit to the match director.
Right.
And I find that very interesting. I find that a very interesting part of our culture. And I think it's something that needs to be re-examined. I love Jason's. That was actually awesome to hear Jason say that.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't have a single complaint about that match other than the gravel, but that's such a minor thing. My biggest problem was they knew the rain was coming in, and they knew that I mean, it's literally a mud pit. Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, really.
That's going to be a problem. Like, no, the jungle run stage 4 was fine. The house was fine. Yeah. Could they have put some anti-skid down or something so that when it rained, we all would have had kind of the same thing? Yeah, sure. Maybe, but who cares? That's irrelevant, right? Like, it is what it is.
Can't control every condition.
Right. You can't, well, you can't. And, but I really think that, I think the words fair and equitable have kind of come to mean less lately in matches. And I think that people get turned off by that. And then they go back to like USPSA. They go back to, or they don't like USPSA. So because they don't find, whatever, they have whatever problem with USPSA, and then they'll go to DMR, PRS. There's always somewhere for people to go shoot. We lost a ton of people to the 22 NRL.
NRL. Oh, I enjoy it. I do that too. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes, if we'd have had the conversation about TAC ops or 3-gun in general fading out, if we'd have had this conversation 4 years ago, I would have told you I'd have felt completely different about it. But at this point, to be honest, I mean, I love 3-gun. That's like my first love. You'll never forget your love. But there's so many other types of shooting sports that I enjoy that, yeah, it would suck if let's say the Battle for the South was the last 3-gun major I ever shot, which it's not going to be. But let's just pretend like it was.
Yeah.
And they said no more TAC ops at any other major, for the rest of existence. You know what? Yeah, it would suck. I'd miss my friends that only shot 3-gun, but there's so much other shooting that I enjoy that I'm not going to miss out on shooting, you know what I mean? Because there's other things I'm going to be doing. But yeah, 3-gun definitely is my first love, and I popped my cherry with 3-gun, so to speak, as far as big time shooting. So it would suck to see it go, but
I think the other issue that I see in the lower attendance, first of all, I do think it is I do think that a lot of this division issue, I think that's a problem. I do think that the cost, the continued increase in match fees, I think that's also kind of a problem. I think that's turning people off. I don't know what PRS costs. I don't know what NRL costs. I don't know what any of those others cost, but it's probably less than a 3-gun match.
It's not a whole lot comparatively. It's not a whole lot less. And you look at prize tables and stuff. I mean, you look at a USPSA major. They're say half the cost, but there's 0 prize table. You know what I mean? Granted, they give away a lot of participation trophies at C class, third place C class shooters and stuff, and they get trophies. But you know, they don't have any kind of prize tables or any kind of, you know, reinvestment into, you know, shooters and stuff like
Yeah, it's
that.
never been
But
their thing,
it
though.
does, yeah, it does come with a price. You know what I mean?
But let's say that, let's just, for example, let's take the price table thing is an interesting thing. I was kind of going to get to that, but so when we look at like air gun, I was at SHOT Show and I was talking to one of the air gun guys from Umarex, and he was telling me that there are cash prizes at air gun matches that are like 20 grand.
Yeah,
like that's crazy.
That's like, look at the long boys. You know, I can't tell you that. Shoot, it was probably I can't remember the last major I shot with the long boys because they started shooting air gun. You know what I mean? Luke won the TV show, the American Air Gun Challenge or whatever it was. And he come back. I remember seeing him after he won that show, and we were talking about it and whatnot. And he's like, "Dude, you talk about some prizes." He's like, "These suckers are throwing some big money at winners." You know what I mean? And you're right. You know, 10, 20, $25,000 for winning some of these big air gun matches. And they, you know, coming from a 3-gun pass, you know, both of them took to it, you know, real fast and had a lot of success real early on. But yeah, it's like you look at those PRS. You know, I rode the AG Cup, and it's like every stage, the stage winner for that stage got $1,000. So you could show up, shoot the match, win 3 stages, go home with $1,000 in your pocket, and still not even hit the podium. You know what I mean? If you bombed all the other stages, but you got 3 stage wins, you know, you just so happened to connect real good on 3 stages, you go home with $3,000 in your pocket. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of money being thrown around in other sports, but a lot of it has to do with the support from the industry and stuff. You know, those big name companies that are shelling out that money, they're getting a lot more return on their investments for those companies.
Yeah, I mean, I think in PRS, I don't know if it's really that true, but we'll find out. I mean, you know, it'll, the longer it goes, the more we'll be able to tell. I think the biggest problem I see with 3-gun and the sponsors or partnerships or whatever you want to call it. I think the biggest thing I see is that so many sponsors have been burned in the past. And they're not going to, they just, those bridges have to be repaired somehow. And unfortunately, I think it's rough. I think it's rough right now.
Yeah. Well, in the industry as a whole, it's, you know, it's not, people aren't living quite as lucratively as they were in the past.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I look at some of this stuff like, you know, like I was at like Superstition had literally, I think everybody got a prize. Like literally the last place shooter walked the prize table.
Nice.
And they didn't pick up, you know, some oil, right? Like that. There was like legit stuff there,
right?
Yeah. But that's because they're pretty dedicated to keeping their marketing partner relationships. They're dedicated to showing that their match is worth companies putting prizes on the table. But I think there are 2 things. First, I think that matches that are run by majors that are run by kind of individuals, they don't seem to have that corporate support. They can't call IWI and be like, "Hey man, I'm doing this match, send me whatever."
Yeah.
Or you know, could you help me out with it? And whoever on the other end of the line goes, "Oh yeah, man, you know, we'll do the same thing we did last year. Plus, let's add a few more, whatever." You know, they don't have that, and so that's why you don't see it. And then you have matches where the people who put them on don't care about the match is the prize that you're paying to shoot the match because it's awesome. Yeah. And they make that match awesome. Right. And so you don't care if you get to walk the prize table or not, right? Maybe like the top 3 or something, but everybody else goes home. So I think that there's this like, it's, for me, I don't really care if I walk the prize table, great. If I don't, that's fine too. I was shocked to get third. I was shocked because my
There's
rifle
only 4 of
performance-
us. Just teasing.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
Well, there was like, so one guy did get DQ'd. There ended up only being like, when it was all said and done, I think there were 7 of us.
Yeah.
Like 7. I think there were maybe 1 or 2 DQs and a guy who was shooting modified. There may have been more modified shooters that were
There was
shooting.
one guy on my squad who was shooting modified, and he came into the last day, and he's like, "Man, who do I need to talk to get my vision changed?" He said, "I'm shooting modified, but they got me my scores in there as TAC ops." And I didn't realize it because going into the last day, he was second place or second or third place or something. And I think you were under the same understanding that you were fourth. And then I remember we were sitting there, waiting on awards to start, and I told you that you were third, and you were shocked.
I was.
And I was like,
I was about to leave.
Yeah, the dude that was ahead of you, he was actually shooting modified.
Yeah.
Going back to the sponsorship thing, another thing I think keeps companies away from doing it, at least in 3-gun, is you don't have a lot of shooters that pull things off the prize tables that are showing appreciation for sponsorship. Like, my biggest thing is at the very least, you know what? If it's not something you're going to use and you're just going to turn around to sell it to fund something that you do need or whatever, like, I get it. But at the very least, you should make a post and let that company know that you appreciate their support of the match. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I mean, like I said, even if you sell it to buy something you really, really need, you wouldn't have that item to sell to help you get that other item you need if it wasn't for those companies. And I don't know if you know, so I do a lot of the social media stuff for Zoo City. And so after the match, that's one of the biggest things I look for, for social media posts for the Zoo City page, is people who are making posts tagging the company and Zoo City, so that I can reshare it, so that I can show that, our match sponsors, like, hey, look, this person, we're not just taking the products you're sending us and just, keeping it for ourselves or giving it to our buddies or, whatever. Like, we are actually putting these products on the prize table for, the match shooters to not only, get a chance of getting the products, but to see the products. Sometimes, like, there was a lot of the newer Vortex stuff on the prize table, like the new 1 to 10 Viper.
I saw that.
Some guys
Blake got one.
There's a lot of those, and some guys haven't even seen those in stores yet. So doing that social media stuff and letting these companies know, about these products that we're, giving away, as prizes and stuff, shows them that, we're putting these products in front of audiences that might not have even had the chance to see them. So even if they didn't do as well as they wanted to in the match, they can see these products firsthand and say, okay, well, you know what, my long range was not good, and I would benefit from one of these 1 to 10. So I'm gonna go, talk to the guy at my local store and tell him, hey man, I need to order one of these scopes. Yeah. So show, people making just something as small as a little appreciation post, goes a long way to show these companies that their contribution was worth it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I agree with that. And so I have, I'm in the middle of redoing a bunch of my own social media especially for the show. And part of that is, being able to do things like that, because I don't generally post on social media very much, which is weird considering what I do, but
yeah.
but I don't actually post on social media that much. And so one of the person who's going to be helping me with all of that, I've got to get all of that lined out. And that's actually one of the things that when I go to these matches and if I do pick something up off the table, I want to obviously promote that. But even with the even the people, even if I don't pick something up, it's still, something I've got to do with this channel is promote 3-gun in general. I mean, all the shooting sports. I mean, everything is cool, man. I love to shoot. I love to pull the trigger. I don't care what it is. You know, we can go shoot skeet. You know, I'm going to suck at it, but I love to pull the trigger, so let's do it. You know, I'll shoot USPSA as, you know, practice and stuff. You know, I'll you know, I mean, I love to pull the trigger, but you know, it's really kind of odd to me the way that it's kind of gone. So I came in and 3-gun was like on a massive upward arc. I shot a major match every month for a couple of years. You know, from I would start in like February and end in November or December, and just every month shoot a major. And now it's just like majors aren't what they used to be. Sometimes they're better, right? Sometimes they just situations keep them from being as great as they used to be, right? Part of the range got sold off, you know, or the props aren't around, or it's a different location, or you know, like this time they had weather issues and range access issues to be able. I mean, you can't play. I know for a fact that a range that is only kind of sort of shut down, you can't go set steel. You can't drive out there if there's even a remote chance somebody's going to be shooting in that direction. You can't go driving out there.
It's tough to shut a whole match down just to go reset a steel.
Yeah. And so I get it. But at the same time, I'm looking at like I should be shooting zombies right now. Yeah. And I would, and you know, that I got a message from my friend I was going to be shooting with. And he's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, my kid had his regionals for clay sports, and you know, so I had to be here, can't be there. And he's like, "That sucks." But and I don't know, man. I think that like I know that like, and there are some match directors, if they put a match on the ground, I'm going to shoot it. Like Aaron Hayes in Texas, you should go shoot that match. You would love that match.
Everybody keeps telling me that, and I would love to go that range, but that all open terrain, it's not my style. I like so my favorite, for example, my favorite 3-gun major is Memorial because they've got the props. I love the props, the strategy stages, especially the ones, you know, that Jason puts down where there's 5 different ways to run it, and you are absolutely racking your brain trying to figure out, you know, a game plan. You know, shooting out of the helicopters and, you know, the moving targets and, you know, the tower. You know, that's what I like the most. You know, I mean, you run on top of a car. Like my first Memorial ever, there was a stage where the entire stage was shot, you know, bouncing from top of from one rooftop to another on cars. You know what I mean? And it's like, where else do you get a chance to do something like that? And so that, for me,
I do miss a lot of the things that used to be done. Like we need vehicle stages. We need golf cart stages again.
Yeah, I remember the Dead Zero days where we could shoot out a silent golf cart.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
And you know,
I came in towards the end of all that, and it's like I hear guys like you and a lot of the older guys that have been around for a while talking about the heyday, and, you know, Rock Castle and all that stuff.
Rock Castle,
like, dude,
right here.
I get so jealous. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, if I'd only come in a couple years sooner, you know what I mean? I could have been there. You know.
Could have been a contender.
Yeah, I could have been somebody.
Yeah. I mean, there's still some really good match. I mean, like the Texas match is really good. It was a lot like, honestly, it was a lot like shooting Battle for the South.
Yeah, at Coleman's, there's definitely way more natural terrain.
Yeah, so it was like 90% natural terrain. They did have a couple of base stages. You were shooting out of RVs. The RV stage was cool.
Yeah, I saw that one. It did look pretty cool.
The slug stage was cool. I mean, it was a great match. The 700-yard shot was pretty cool.
Which Eric did with one round with a red dot.
Yeah, I did that with 1 or 2 rounds. Yeah, it was a big target, but there was the problem is like you're shooting across a valley, and the wind was for me the wind went perfect. Like it went dead flat the second I cleared that last target, and I actually held wind, and I'll have to look at the video again. I think I missed the first shot, but I missed it because I was holding wind, and I just made a small correction and then banged at that second shot. And guys were like going to war with that thing.
Oh yeah,
because the wind would come up, and like you've got wind pushing it this way, then another wind pushing it that way. It was like wherever you end up at. But I mean, I get you. I like the like I shot the Texas hard as hell 2 times, and where they would have like the Death Stars, which are the spinners on a pendulum that swing around and go all crazy, and that was awesome. And running up a hill through a tube using a rope to pull yourself up, that was awesome. A lot of this stuff is like it's stuff that you can do that just adds so much to the stage and so much to the match, right? Because each match has kind of a flavor to it. And like Superstition, I know is going to be really technical. It's going to have some fast parts, but really you need to really understand the stage descriptions and what you're supposed to shoot, the order you're supposed to shoot it. And you have to really look for all of the hidden targets because there are going to be some. And fine, I know that about that match,
right?
But it's still a great match. Texas is going to be with the new facility. It's going to be maybe 1 or 2 kind of bay-ish stages, but you're going to be shooting your rifle a lot. You're going to be shooting your shotgun a lot, and you're really going to melt your pistol down. And it's just, long stages, lots of targets, high round counts, all the things that I love. And it's a lot like Battle for the South this year, being just all of the natural terrain. Battle for the South, I thought was going to be closer to what it was like when it was in Griffin Group, where it was going to be more props, more.
It's different location, different, like you said, different flavor.
Yeah. I loved the original Hard as Hell, where it was, you had props and natural terrain kind of equally, and you could run through a trench and all that kind of stuff, which you can't do anymore. I loved all of that stuff. They're doing Hard as Hell again as a 2-gun, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I have the information. I'll get it to you. But I like all of those matches. I haven't shot the USPSA 3-gun nationals in like 6 years because they hold it up there in Michigan.
Yeah,
which Michigan's very flat, and it's just hard to understand. It's hard for me to think that it's. I don't know. People have told me it's becoming a great match. So maybe
it is getting better. I remember when I first got into 3-gun, and I was seeing videos. Of course, you had the horror stories about being DQ happy and all that stuff. But
I watched Tom Hart get DQ'd.
Yeah, but even with that, all that aside, like just looking at the stages and stuff, I never would see people's videos after a match and be like, "Man, I wish I'd have gone to that." These last like year or two, I've seen the footage from those matches, and it's like that looked like it could have been fun. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
who knows? I might do one day, but like I said, I've got so much going on, and if I do,
it's hard for you to travel, right? I mean, it's just with your work schedule and everything, it's hard.
If I can only do 3 majors a year, well, I'm going to pick Memorial and Zoo City matches, of course. especially because they're the closest, and to me, in my opinion, they're the best around. So, but I am a little biased.
Yeah, no, you're heavily biased, which is fine. That's totally cool. That's totally cool. Yeah, has Memorial opened yet? I have not shot.
Oh yeah, it's open, sold out. Yeah, you can hop on the wait list.
Yeah, I didn't even. Memorial, I'm just not tied into that very well, and so I've only shot it one time.
Yeah,
and that was the time that you worked it and were doing the shotgun run.
Yeah,
when we were shooting.
It's funny is of course Memorials, all the big shots come out, and Memorials where the best of the best usually go because it's the biggest and best one. And I remember every year my goal was to place better than I did the previous year. Well, I think it was 2 years ago, my goal was to hit top 10. I didn't realize it, but if you get top 10 in your division, you get like an early access to register the next year. But I always RO Memorial just as my way to help
Sure.
memorialize and help these families that the match is all for. So it was cool because I got that email and I was like, dude, that's wild, because so I broke into the top 10 the first time and didn't know about the early access to registration, and I was like, oh, dude, that's so cool. But then at the same time, I was like, man, it's kind of a waste because that's I RO, and when you RO, you're already registered early anyway.
Yeah.
We shoot ahead of the main match anyway, so it was kind of like, well, that's cool, but I almost felt like I was wasting the coolness of it because I was already registered by the time I even got that email. But yeah, it is neat to get those early accesses to matches like that sell out so fast. I mean, I think last year it sold out within 30 seconds.
When is it?
I mean, wow. It's in October. I think it's the second weekend in October, first or second weekend. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'll have to get on the wait list, I guess.
I know it's always early because usually I'm usually out there during, because as an RO we're out there for an entire week, and I'm usually out there during my anniversary every year, so I know it's early in the month.
Okay, all right. I'll have to get on the list and wait patiently.
Be surprised. A lot of people end up dropping, especially in that area. You got a lot of military competitors, and they end up getting deployed last minute and stuff. And Misty, who does the practice score for Memorial, she's all the time, updating the wait list, and getting people out that are dropping and getting people in off the wait list. So
yeah,
it move. That wait list will move a lot.
Well, it was the same thing with Superstition. So Superstition, I wasn't going to go at all. I was just like, I'm not doing it this year. And then I was like, I need to go. I need the content for the channel, and whatever. So I just put my name in. I was like, yeah, I'll go if I go. It'll be fine. And then bam, I'm in. And I was like, all right, cool.
And that's one I would like to go out to Superstition because, that technical style match is.
Oh, you'll kill Super. I mean, you'll have to learn your buckshot, and you'll have to really get your slugs dialed in. But other than
that's the only thing that I wouldn't like is the buckshot. But I got friends out there in that area too, so it'd be cool to get out there and shoot them.
Yeah, I'll shoot it again next year. I had a better time this past year than I've ever had at Superstition.
Yeah.
So, I didn't do very well, but that's my own problem.
You can't podium at all of them.
Man, I tell you though, coming out of the first day, I was feeling really good, and then the second day, I just like I timed out on one stage that I didn't feel like I should have timed out on. I mean, a lot of people were timing. I mean, don't get me wrong, like a lot of people were timing out, and but I didn't feel like I should have. And then I left a couple of targets just being stupid, and just not. It wasn't really what I wasn't really prepared. I hadn't really practiced. I don't think I shot a match before I went there.
Oh wow.
I had I was supposed to shoot. Oh, I think I shot. I shot a dead zero match with like 5 shotgun targets on it or something.
Oh wow!
And so I was like, we'll go see how this works. But yeah, I had some. It was tough. It was a tough match for me, which historically I've never done well at Superstition.
Yeah.
Yeah, never had like that really good finish that I want. It's I DQ'd there once.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a good story. I'll tell you about it. It was a bad call, but it doesn't change the fact that I DQ'd. So, but yeah, it was. That was, and it almost prevented me from going back the following year. But Russ talked me into it. It was good. Yeah, I think I don't know what can save TAC. I think the problem with TAC Ops is the pistol. Everybody wants to use red dots.
Not, yeah.
Everybody's got to have a dot on a pistol now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Go ahead.
The young guys a hard time. It's like, yeah, I can see needing a dot if you couldn't see, but you're young, you can see. You got plenty of years left.
Yeah, I'm just hard headed. I just like my pistol. But I would like I don't it's just odd to me. Every YouTube video I see of somebody shooting now, burning down a stage, is not a guy with a iron sight pistol, like hitting A zones. It's a guy with the red dot, and I'm like, I mean, okay, you can track the dot. That's great.
Yeah,
it's not. It was impressive until I saw the pistol. It was like,
yeah, he saw what he was doing it with.
Yeah, I think that there's just a lot of people that just aren't using as many skills as they used to. So
that's what I like about TAC Ops is it is a little bit harder, and you have to have a little bit more of that fundamental marksmanship.
Yeah, I do think that I think part of I guess my biggest problem right now with TAC Ops, and probably everybody's problem with 3-gun in general, is there's no unifying rule set anymore.
Yeah, that's been a problem for years.
So like, or at least where they're close enough to where I don't have to reconfigure my gear for every event. So like, I like the way that Renzing was doing his rule set, and where you had, in TAC Ops, you could have, he went from TAC Ops to optics. So you could have two dot, you could have a dot on your pistol if you wanted, or you could put it on your shotgun if you wanted it, or whatever. I thought that was good. I thought that most of the things and then having the kind of limited guys still be limited. I thought that was good too. I only know like 3 people in the country that actually shoot limited.
Yeah, if they had a match for it, I'd like to try it, because like I said, when I came along, limited was pretty much dying. I think Benning was the last match I saw that even had limited, and that was 2019. But I would like to try it, but unfortunately, there's not enough guys willing to eat a bite of that shit sandwich with me. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible. So what's your next match, and what are you working on? What are you trying to get better at?
What is my next match? I think my next match is a tactical sniper series match. I think what I'm looking long term. I'm shooting the Mammoth Sniper Challenge in January with my buddy Roy Jofron. And so I'm working on, getting my weight back under control, or at least, getting where I'm happy with it, getting back down and getting to where I need to be. But I've been doing a lot of the TSS and Geisley gas gun matches with my rifle that I built out for Mammoth. just getting reps in on the gun, learning my wind calls and stuff with it. So long term, that's what I've been working on most this year. I've shot more gas gun matches and DMR matches than I have any 3-gun this year, or anything else for that matter. But so that's probably what I'm working on the most this year. And I went into this year knowing that would be where the majority of my focus would be. So and like I'm shooting a NRL hunter match next month. And I'm shooting in the skills division with my 223 gas gun. I'm shooting the match not to be competitive, but I'm shooting it with some really good shooters. And in the skills division, they can give you advice and tips and help you and stuff throughout the match. But NRL hunter is about as close as you're going to get to the mammoth as far as that style of finding targets. Totally blind stages, coming up to the stage, finding targets, ranging targets, figuring out your holds and engaging, setting up position and engaging. So that's the only reason I'm shooting that NRL hunter match. But and like I said, so all the gas gun, the NRL hunter and stuff has all been driven towards just practice for that mammoth.
So what gear are you using now? I know that you're using the Honcho pistol still. And I know that you had a different pistol for the gauntlet type matches. And
I still go with the Phoenix Trinity just for the gauntlet and DMR matches and the night matches. I use the Phoenix Trinity H Duty. It's just a compensated pistol with a red dot because those types of matches don't have different gear requirements or limitations for divisions. Right. Typically it's more so for like the physical matches, more so for towards the physical stuff is what differentiates the divisions, and DMR usually is just your caliber that differentiates you in those divisions. The pistol is just a kind of side effect.
Right.
But yeah, so I use that for the DMR. I've got it's basically an old school 3-gun rifle. It's an 18-inch rifle length gas, 223 wild barrel. But I'm running a higher magnified scope on it. I mean, I'll be secondary shooter, so our shots only go out to like 800-900 yards. So I've got I think a 4-22 or 4-24 scope on that, which works just fine for those engagement distances. But it's been fun so far, just learning from the mistakes and getting better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You had a Mac pistol that you were using for a while.
Yeah, I had an issue with my H Duty and had to send it back for repairs, and so I picked up the Mac actually off of a prize table at the West Virginia major match that they do up there. And in this day and age of the budget 2011s, I mean, it's like a budget 2011 renaissance these days.
Oh yeah.
But I took that Mac and it's actually pretty solid. So Phoenix Trinity sent me a grip to swap. My biggest complaint with most of your budget friendly offerings in the 2011 world is the fit and finish isn't what your higher end companies are, because I mean let's be honest, that's what you're paying for with the top end 2011s is the fit and finish, the quality, and all that stuff. So your fit and finish of the parts aren't as good. Some of the actual parts, whether you have MIM parts or not, that's going to be a lot of your difference with the budget friendly ones. But that Mac doesn't have any MIM parts in it. My biggest complaint was the trigger was pretty heavy, pretty gritty. The grip was super fat. I mean, probably the thickest grip I've ever seen on a 2011, and they're already known for having thicker grips.
Yeah.
And the recoil spring was just super heavy, just way too heavy. So Phoenix Trinity was nice enough. They sent me a grip to swap out in it, and I did a little home tuning and polishing on some parts, bent some springs up a little bit, and made the trigger better. I still hadn't changed the recoil spring, but it's broken in now to where it's bearable. It's not ungodly heavy anymore. But dude, I'm telling you now, somebody asked if they could buy that pistol from me literally a couple weeks ago, and I absolutely would not sell that pistol.
Well, I was going to
It is.
say that you told me you were going to sell it to me, and then you were like, "No, I can't sell it to you. I got to build it into. I got to use it as my spare, get my honcho broke or whatever." And I was like, "All right, whatever, that's fine."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I had to use the backup, and then as I was using it, I was like, this thing's actually pretty solid, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty nice, and I've loaned it to a lot of new shooters because that's one of the things I quite enjoy doing is helping a lot of new
sure.
shooters, especially locally, and so I've loaned that pistol. I mean, I literally have a bag just for that pistol with 4 Atlas mags. And so when somebody needs to borrow it, dude, I throw the pistol in that bag, and those Atlas mags are the only mags that have been in the gun, and that's the only gun that those mags have been in. And I know it runs. The gun is a great shooting gun, and it works. You know what I mean? So I can give it to a new shooter, knowing that they're going to have a good experience with it. And
Yeah,
it
I've got a
turned out
Rock
that
Island like that.
exactly, yeah,
I
same,
can give it to
yeah.
anybody.
Guys
It'll
were going
shoot.
after Rock
It's
Island
stupid
years
accurate
ago.
too. It's like
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
Yeah, for a cheap gun, 800. I think I paid $800 for it.
Right. Yeah, I think those Macs are 700-800 bucks.
Yeah. What are you using for a rifle for 3-gun these days?
So one of my sponsors, Bones Defense, built me out a rifle, but the way he did it was he said, "What do you need to make you as competitive as possible?" And right now, as most people know, the unrivaled technology stuff is the cat's meow, especially the comps. People have mixed reviews, mixed feelings on their new barrel, the 16.69-inch barrel with the rifle length gas. And I've got their comp.
Who's
They're
comp?
just unrivaled
Oh yeah,
technologies.
yeah. I like Unrivaled.
The Siege, I think it is the adjustable Siege brake. They're 16.69. It's a straight fluted barrel. Heavy profile, straight fluted. But it's got rifle length gas on that length of a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
The titanium lightweight BCG, which is basically like the Rock City Armory or Rock
Rubber
River
City
Armory.
Armor. Yeah.
Rubber City, that's it. Rubber City. Pretty much same thing as the old Rubber City titaniums, and then their captured spring system, buffer system.
I love that
so
buffer
far, dude,
system.
oh yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's so nice that whole combination. I ended up getting one of their duty BCGs and buffer systems to put in my night rifle. So I mean, it makes a big difference, and your average shooter might not notice it, but your seasoned competition shooter trying to squeeze everything they can out of a rifle. That's to me right now. That's where it's at.
Oh yeah, I think Unrivaled is probably one of the premier like tuner that's out there.
Yeah.
And that's not to take anything away from JP or anything like that.
Oh no, JP still that's the OG. That's
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, certainly JP's awesome, but I mean when we're talking about cutting edge technology, Unrivaled is right there. I don't use their brake. I mean I haven't tried it, but it doesn't look like it's what I would want. So I use the Ultratech Apollo S Max, and those things are just crazy good. Like people hate you. People hate you.
Oh yeah, the ROs hate you. Yeah, but yeah, my last build was an 18-inch JP with the JP lightweight BCG and their spring. But the comp I had was the Precision Armament Hyper Tap, which is a fairly popular comp. And at the time, when I put that comp on that rifle with all those components, I said, man, there's no way any combination of components can make a softer, flatter shooting rifle. And then the Unrivaled stuff come out. I tried their comp alone on my IWI Galil, for the AK Masters and AK matches. And I was like, holy cow! That comp tamed that piston gun so soft. I said, I have to put one of these on my 3-gun rifle. You know what I mean? And it was like night and day between. And the precision. Don't get me wrong, the Precision Armament Hyper Tap is a very good comp, and it is tunable. You can drill out ports and stuff, but it is a noticeable difference between that and the Unrivaled technology stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about the Ultra Tech or Ultra Dyne, whatever it is. They're so Tim Yackley told me about it.
Mm.
I was talking to him, and I'm like, I was like, what comp are you using? I'm just kind of curious. And he's like, well, I use this. Okay. So I looked it up. I ordered one. I have like 4 of them now. Like, they're just like, I just know they're going to work. I just know that everything's going to be right. And I don't have any problems out of any of it. So, it's, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
What ammo are you shooting?
Reloads.
I know you reload. So are you using like, so are you using like 55 or 52 grain?
Yeah. So I use 55 burners, for anything within 100 yards. If it's not anything too small, I'll go out to 200 yards with the burners. But if it's anything 200 or past, I'm typically I was using 77 grain Sierra Match Kings, but just price wise and everything, the Hornadies, the 75 grains were a little bit cheaper and definitely more readily available locally to me. So I ended up switching to the 75 Hornadies, I think 2 years ago, and that I hadn't regretted. I hadn't been in a scenario where I said, "Man, I wish I had those 2 extra grains on my long range load." And if anything, I'm getting better accuracy out of them.
I did a lot of testing, and the 77s versus 75s, I like the 75s better. My gun does anyway. Yeah. And then, but the ultimate for me right now, so I use for rifle ammo, I use 55 grains. If they're my hand loads, I'll go out to 400 yards with them.
Dang.
Yeah, as long as it depends on what the wind is, but my hand loads are super consistent, and so I don't have that worry about an 8-inch shot group.
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't. So if they're my hand loads, 55s, I'll go out pretty far all day. My long range currently is a 73 grain ELD or ELDM. It's insane. I think we were talking about it while we were at the Battle for the South. Now, I didn't use them at Battle for the South and I'm glad I didn't, because I hadn't had time to test this batch to make sure that that they cross over, that everything's still the same. But I chronoed them at like 29:30.
Jeez. Yeah, that's pumping.
I know, right? For a 73, that's that's moving right along. And I mean, they've got that better profile, ballistic profile, so they're just super low drag, and I mean they hit, man. They hit.
Yeah.
It's almost they're just, and they are more expensive than say like a 75, but not by that much more. And so, and I don't shoot a ton of them, but I can I like the 75 Hornady. I like Hornady bullets in general. I've just, and part of that is they support the zombies match, which I've shot so many times, and I just think that's why wouldn't I support them? And part of that is that, and part of it is just, I talk to those people when I'm there. They work in the factory, and they'll tell you straight up. They'll be like, like the American Gunner 55 grain with the hollow 55 grain hollow point boat tail is a match bullet. Like those are a match bullet that you can 100% trust that out to like 400 yards. If your rifle shoots it well, it's going to shoot it well and it's going to group well. And that used to be like the number one ammo I would use. I used it for everything. And now I use for blaster. If it's not my own blaster, I use the Hornady 55 grain or the Frontier 55 grain, because it's made by Hornady in the Hornady plant.
Right.
And so, it's just not as pretty. They don't polish it. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that. So, and I like the Hornady stuff for sure. I've tried Sierras. I've tried a bunch of others, but I'm pretty sold on those Hornadies.
Yeah.
So especially that 73 ELD, man. Like, telling you, it's it makes you look good. It makes you look good. And I mean, and the best thing is that their trajectory because of the speed is virtually the same drop as my 55. So once you zero your 55s at like 100 and confirm at 200, you can reach out to 400 yards and you're not changing your hold or dope between the two.
That's pretty nice.
That's pretty good, right? So you're just like, I don't have to think, what ammo do I have in the gun right now?
Right.
One less thing I have to think about. That's good for me because I'm not real smart. So so that works out pretty good. I'm still using the 124 grain precision deltas in the pistol. I tried those brass monkeys that you told me about. I tried them. I never could get the tension right, so they keyholed for me for like ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
So
For 9mm, I've been shooting the Zoo City ammo for a while, but for the 40, yeah, I use those brass monkey projectiles.
Yeah, I've got to change. It's probably the crimp die that I use because I'm using like a factory crimp die.
Yeah,
and I think it crimps it too much for the powder coated bullets, and it just causes them to tumble. Somebody told me that, and I'm like, I'm not going to go through my whole setup again and
change it. Yeah, that's a pain.
So I'm like, no. What are you using to reload these days? Are you using a Hornady still, or you drink the blue Kool-Aid?
So I still do the majority of my loading on Hornady presses. I did end up getting a Area 419, the Zero press for more like precision stuff. Yeah. But yeah, the vast majority of my reloading is still done on Hornady lock and load, and I still have a Hornady Classic that I do the majority of my loading on.
I changed my whole setup. I went to a Frankfurt X1 or X10. Yeah, the X10. Yeah. Changed the whole thing, and now I'm seriously considered buying 2 more of their presses because they're just that X1 works so good. Like it's crazy.
That's like that Zero. It's a smooth press. I mean, it's like what the rock chucker dreamed of being.
Right. Well, it was supposed to be what we were promised. What the box said that we didn't get.
Yeah.
I never got it. I never did like the rock chucker. I actually like the Forster coax, but they're so expensive. Yeah. I'm just I had one. I sold it, and now I just cannot. I have never been able to justify buying another. Right. I want to, but I just can't get there. So, they're just
it's nice. I mean, you spend so much time on those presses. It's hard not to spend some good money on them.
Stop hitting your mic.
Oh, is that what? Sorry, I was bumping my phone. Looking at getting text message. The wife's wondering, "You going to bed?"
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, we can wrap up here in a minute. I don't really have a whole lot. I really wanted to talk to you about the where you saw 3-gun and some of this competitive shooting going, because you're kind of out there in the streets. You know, you've got it going on. You know, you got your finger on the pulse and all that. Talk to those match directors all the time.
Yeah.
You know
what they say, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know.
That's 100%. That's not sometimes. That's just period. What so I guess I got to get into Memorial. Got to come out and do that.
Yeah, get on the wait list. Last I heard, the wait list wasn't as long as it had been in the past. So, and like I said, they go through the wait list on a regular basis.
Is it going to be a Griffin group?
Yeah, it's going to be a Griffin group again. Probably have marathon targets and all the stuff everybody loves every year.
I love the marathon targets, man.
A lot of fun. It's not often you get to shoot a moving target like that, but when you do, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did that at Hard as Hell Assaulter. I loved it. Yeah. I love that kind of stuff anyway. It's what I like. Got any final thoughts, man? You want to throw out there?
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, well, next time maybe I'll send you some technology so you can actually like.
Yeah, I'm sorry for everybody that can't hear me or whatever stupid problems I'm having with my computer or whatever my setting. I don't have a setup for this kind of stuff, but
that's all right.
Couldn't turn down an opportunity to talk to my friend about some shooting stuff.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Maybe we'll we won't talk so much about the about a single match. We can talk about what you like about different matches and what kind of props you like and stages you like and things like that. You know, we can get into.
Tell you what would be a good idea is if you can get into more Memorial, maybe one of the nights after you get done shooting, we can actually sit down face to face and do have a conversation.
Yeah, so I've been doing. So I go to these matches. I have not asked for an entry yet, right? Like so I'm media. I'm actually actual media. Like I'm a media with the NSSF. I'm media. I went to SHOT Show as media. Like I'm legit. Right. I'm legit. And one of the but like I shot some drone footage. I don't know if you've seen it, but I shot some drone footage at a couple of matches. I tried it. I tried really hard to get good drone footage at Zoo City at the Battle for the South, but it was so overcast the whole time. It pisses the drone off. It can't, the LiDAR or whatever doesn't work right. Yeah. And it really wants like some sunshine, right? Like it'll work in shade, but it really wants some sunshine. Right. And we didn't have any of that. We were fresh out. We were fresh out.
All out.
So I didn't get very good drone footage, which I always like because I've got this drone that follows me.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. Yeah, look, it's cool too. It's really cool. It's fun to watch.
It would be great to do that at Memorial if it doesn't pour rain, right? And I hope I do get to shoot it. Like,
was nasty.
I'm trying to do like this year. I'm trying to do everything on my own and I'm not asking for any freebies. I'm not asking for anything. Next year, I'm hoping to get invited to matches as media to do stuff. You know, but and I've I've got to do. I'm putting together. Maybe you can. Maybe I'll lean on you a little bit to help me. I'm trying to put together a thing as a promotional thing for 3-gun in general, not just for individual matches or regions or anything like that, but 3-gun in general, because it is a great sport. It is a great way to spend time shooting your guns and understanding the weapon manipulation and all of that. And I think the thing that really scares a lot of people away are the rules, the idea of safety, and the cost. And it'd be great to. I'm trying to put something together on that. We'll get that lined out, and then I've got, like I said, I've got a media girl who's going to be doing all my socials. So I'm not even going to do my socials. I'm gonna have somebody do it because I hate all of that.
It's the smart way.
That's right. I suck at it. But hey, man, it's been a really great conversation. We'll talk to you real soon. Hopefully, you can come up to Dead Zero and shoot a match, on a Saturday or something.
If they have them.
Yeah, they won't. It's going to be Sunday. You're just going to have to suck it up. And
and I do every once in a blue moon. If I really
saw you there. I showed up and I was like, holy crap. That's
I'll make it.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to, I'm going to try and shoot this month's match. Usually what happens with me is I know the match is there and then something will get scheduled on top of it that I can't do both.
Yeah. So, that whole adulting thing.
Yeah, I hate doing it, but it's somebody's got to.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. Well, man, it's been a great talk. Do you have actual sponsors that you want to shout out or anything?
Yeah. Zoo City, IWI, Pro 2 Customs, A3G Munitions. Those are my current supporters who take care of me and show me love. So
all right.
Definitely appreciate them. And if your viewers, are in the market for anything that they can help you with, definitely reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually picked up a certificate for an IWI pistol off the table.
Yeah.
They
showed a lot of love on the prize table this year. Yeah.
I wanted the Vortex optic, but I didn't finish high enough to make it there in time.
Yeah, shoot more gooder.
More gooder.
Shoot more gooder.
But I'll take, the pistol will be cool. And actually I need to have my wife call up Zoo City and make the arrangements for that. Cause I will forget. I'm not that organized. So
yeah. If you look on the cert, they got an email. You just send them an email and arrangements for them to ship it out to you.
Yeah, I think I have to pay them $30.
Yeah,
So that's fine.
for the handling fee and all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you jump off, man. You have a great rest of your night. Get some sleep. Go work on ambulances or whatever it is that you work on, and we'll talk to you another time. It's been really good talking to you and catching up and getting your kind of feedback and opinions on all of this stuff. So I actually intended to kind of go stage by stage and get you to kind of mentally break it down, but you were having so much trouble with the technology. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that I got it figured out, maybe we can do that.
What you need to do is you need to get a real microphone. They're not expensive, and a real microphone helps, and a real camera helps. Because real
probably a better place. I see this light above me. It looks like crap.
Yeah. So there's some lighting issue, but I mean that's fine. I mean, most people don't do this all the time and don't have like a whole studio set up. So, just it's amazing what like a cheap webcam, and just a decent microphone, how much it changes everything. Like it doesn't have to be like a real pro level stuff just to do an interview here or two here and there. So, but we'll get you back on, man, and tell the guys at Zoo City that I had a great time. Really, my trophy's like right there, mainly because it kind of feels us. It looks good. It sits there, and it looks good.
Looks good right there.
Yeah, and it kind of hides my energy drink. So nice. All right. Well, have a great rest of your night, Pat. And we'll catch you later, man.
All right, buddy. You too. Appreciate it.
All right. See you, buddy. Thank you. And that's Pat, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, everybody in the chat who's still left? That was my buddy Pat. He's a really excellent shooter, and really had a great time shooting Battle for the South. We'll be shooting Fall Brawl as well, and that was really great. I kind of had an idea about what he's done, but hearing him talk about it was really good. Hope you guys got something out of that. If you didn't, sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but it's been good for me. I don't know that, I don't know if I want to go much further. This is exactly about the time I wanted to end, but let's see if there's anybody out there on the interwebs that I can go and, kind of chat with while I'm here. Let's see. Who's live out there? Wow, it's just not a lot. Not a lot alive. Oh, Food Shops is live, but I don't think Food Shops likes me, which is fine. Not sure that I like Food Shops. It's just, I was like, is just nobody live right now? Nobody I can go and chat with, go hang out with? Well, all right. We'll call it a night, guys. It's been great. That was a great conversation. Can't wait to hear it on the podcast, on the audio podcast, and with a little bit of editing and whatnot. You guys have a great rest of your night. I will catch you probably not tomorrow. Probably be Wednesday before you see me. We'll see. Later.